A sheer vertical cliff face. Thousands of feet of empty, punishing air. It is a high-stakes environment entirely hostile to human biology, where gravity demands constant payment. But look closely at the climber. Despite the deadly drop, she is completely relaxed. She is suspended mid-air, hands-free. Her survival right now does not depend on raw grip strength. Her forearms are not pumping with lactic acid, and she is not taxing her cardiovascular system to hold her position. The only reason she hasn't fallen is a single piece of hardware, a mechanical one-way climbing ratchet attached to her rope. True stability in an extreme environment does not come from continuous, exhausting physical exertion. It comes from trusting a mechanical system to do the holding for you. We assume upward progress requires constant active reaching and pulling. To climb is to exert effort, but human muscle has a strict expiration date. Every pull, every sustained grip aggressively drains your finite reserves of glycogen and oxygen. Burnout is a biological certainty. Biology is vulnerable to fatigue. Inorganic metal is cold, static, and reliable. If your altitude depends entirely on your own active effort, you are mathematically guaranteed to suffer a catastrophic fall the exact second your energy depletes. Relying on raw effort to maintain your position makes any progress you achieve incredibly fragile. A full day of upward movement can be entirely erased by a single moment of fatigue. To understand how to prevent that fall, we have to look specifically at the mechanics of the ratchet clamped onto the climbing rope. This cross-section diagram shows the internal toothed cam. Pushing upward rotates the cam away, gliding friction-free, but downward weight pivots it inward, biting sharply into the rope. This mechanical asymmetry allows completely free progress, but instantly and aggressively arrests any movement in reverse. The ratchet itself performs zero pulling. It does not lift the climber a single inch. Its sole, solitary function is to absolutely refuse any backward movement. The absolute genius of this device is that it assumes the active, exhausting burden of holding the climber securely in place. It takes the weight, freeing the climber to rest. This logic of one-way movement is the missing link in how we typically handle our daily energy and long-term goals. Most of us spend our lives in a cycle of climbing and sliding. We exert massive effort to reach a new level of productivity or skill, but we leave the rope completely open behind us. Without a mechanism to lock in those gains, every night is a slow slide backward. We wake up having to reconquer the same territory we already paid for yesterday. The climber's hands are calloused because she knows every inch of rope is expensive. She doesn't want to buy the same inch twice. If you don't have a one-way valve for your progress, you aren't actually building a permanent life. You are nearly running endlessly on a vertical treadmill until you inevitably collapse. In any endeavor, we focus on the ceiling, the maximum height, the next promotion, or the ideal version of ourselves we are trying to reach. The higher you reach, the easier it is to ignore the growing void beneath your feet. We become so fixated on the next handhold that we forget how far we have to fall if our grip fails. Now, look past the climber's feet. Look at the floor, the baseline. The floor is the point where the ratchet is currently locked. It is the absolute minimum you can revert to when you are at your weakest. If you only focus on the ceiling, your entire structure is unstable. You are living in a state of constant, high-stakes peril, where one bad day can erase years of work. A higher ceiling provides no safety if the floor beneath you hasn't been moved up to meet it. Reach raises your ceiling. A ratchet secures your floor. Stop spending every waking hour trying to touch a higher peak. That effort is wasted if you can't keep the ground you've already won. Redirect your focus. Build systems and habits that act as mechanical cams, tools that refuse to let you slide back to where you started. You do not need to reach a higher ceiling today. You need to secure your floor.